Good morning, students. This is 12th Zoology video class, Chapter 11, Part 1. Chapter 11, Part 1. Organisms and Populations. This is new chapter. Listen carefully. In this chapter, we are going to learn introduction part of organisms and population. Then you can note it down, take your textbook and just mark in your textbook with your pencil or pen. Then 11.1 we are going to see in this chapter. Then 11.3 we are going to see in this chapter. Then 11.7 we are going to see in this chapter. Then populations. Then 11.8 populations and attributes we are going to see. Then last chapter 11.12 the population interactions. So these are the topics we are going to learn for your exam point of view. And so these are the reduced syllabus in chapter 11. What is organisms? As you have learned in the lower classes, organism means any living things. The tiger, this is also called as organisms. A group of the tiger, they form one community. And what is populations? The individual of animals, they join together and they live in one place, that is because of population. The word ecology is derived from Greek language. The term oikos means house. Oikos means house. And logos means study. Thus, the study of the environmental house includes all the organisms in it and all the functional process that makes the house habitable. So that is the meaning of ecology. Here, the study of ecology, they undergone different levels of organisms. Undergone for different levels of organisms, populations, community, ecosystems. So these are the different stages of ecology. Here, actually the ecology, the term is derived from populations. Ecology, the term populations, is originally coined to denote a group of people. So the populations originally denote ecology is originally denote a populations originally denote a group of people. For people only they use this populations word. Afterwards, it has broadened to include a group of individuals of any one kind of organisms. So populations is a word used for only human people, for human being. So afterwards, what happens? So this word, this populations word, are just broadened to include a group of individuals of any one kind of organism. A community in the ecological sense includes all the populations occupying a given area. So the tiger means all the tiger, they live in one place with their family. They occupy one areas. Biotic means living things. Abiotic means non-living things. The community and the non-living environment, abiotic, functions together as ecological system or ecosystem. Just mark it out, 2 marks. They'll ask you what is ecosystem. The community, just take your textbook, just mark it from community year 2 up to ecosystem. The next, what is biome? Mark it another 2 marks. Biome is a term, a wide use for large regional or subcontinental system characterized by major vegetation type. This is we call as a biomes. So major vegetations will be there in one particular place. That is we call as a biomes. And what is ecosphere? What is ecosphere? Here, the largest and most nearly self-sufficient biological system is often designed as the ecosphere. The largest as well as the most nearly self-sufficient biological systems. The people are the populations which they live in large number and they have self-sufficient biological systems. That is we call as a ecosphere. Just learn this introduction parts. Just here how 2 marks this I mentioned. Define ecosystem. You can mark it out. The next one, what is biomes? Then what is ecosphere? So these are the introduction parts. Then we'll move to next topic. Next topic is the one 11.1 organisms and its environment. Organism means any living things, that is we call as organisms. And its environment means where do they live? Their surroundings only we call as environments. Every living organism has its own specific surrounding medium or environment with which it continuously interacts and develops suitable adaptations for survival there. So every living organisms, if they go to a new place, according to their environment, that organisms has to adapt. So here, the environmental is a collective term which includes the different conditions in which an organism lives are present. That's what just we are seeing. Then what is next one is what is abiotic components. The common and influencing factors in any environment are light, temperature, pressure, water, salinity. Salinity means what? The characters of that water, whether that's salty, how much percent of salt is that, that is because of salinity. And these are collectively referred as abiotic component. Just mark it 2 marks. Rarely they'll ask you what is the meaning of what is abiotic component, they'll ask you. The next is the one 11.3. Next topic is that 11.2 is not there. Habitat means that living place of animals we call as a habitat. See, in this topic they say they given a different examples of organisms and their habitats. That's what they given this 11.2. The next one is the one 11.3. Next one is the one 11.3. Major abiotic components or factors. Major abiotic components or factors. Abiotic components means here they includes chemical and physical factors which influence or affect organisms and their functioning in their environment. The common abiotic factors are temperature. We'll see one by one. Then light, then water, then soil. These are the abiotic components. We'll see one by one. First one is the one temperature. Temperature or degree of hotness and coldness is an essential and variable factor in any environment. So temperature as well as cold is very essential factors in variable environment, in different environment. It influences all forms of life by affecting many vital activities of organisms. So this temperature, just the influence in various activities of human being in the cells, also metabolisms. Metabolism means complete process. Metabolism means a complete process. Behavior, reproduction, development, and even death in the biosphere. All these activities, the temperature are involved. The minimum and maximum temperature of an environment regulates the survival of a cell. Survival of cell. Here, the metabolism decides in various sensitivity of some factors like here determinations of sex and sex ratio, maturations of gonads, gametogenesis, and reproductions is influenced by temperature. Based on this temperature, the scientists are just given three different rules. First rules is the one Bergman rules. Bergman's rules. Just mark it out. Very important. 2 marks. What do they say here? Bergman's rules. Mark it from here. Birds and mammals attain greater body in size. Greater body size in colder regions than warmer regions. Okay. Here the animals which live, the birds or mammals, whatever they live, whoever they live in the colder regions, they have their body size will be different when it compared to the warmer region. That is the one Bergman's rules. The next one is some Allen's rules. Just mark it from birds to up to Bergman's rules. Mark it 2 marks, important. Then Allen's rules is the one warm-blooded animals, which means the animals which undergone for the warm-blooded. That is because of warm-blooded animals living in colder climates. The animals, whoever they have warm-blooded animals, they live in colder regions, climates. They tend to have shorter limbs, ears, and other appendages. Okay, the animals whoever have cold regions, colder body, cold regions, they have warm-blooded animals. The blood will be somewhat warm. That is we call as a warm-blooded animals. That animals that live in cold climates, they have different size, which means the short limbs, ears, and other appendages, other parts. When we compare this the cold regions animals with the same species in warmer climates, okay, the animals whoever they live in the cold regions, they have short limbs and other appendages. When we compare same species of animals, they live in the warmer climates. Okay, the two different species are the one species, same animals. For example, take anyone examples. Polar bear, if they live in the colder regions, the other animals which live in the bear which live in the warmer regions. The polar bear which lives in the cold regions, they have short limbs, other appendages. Whereas when we compare this polar bear with normal bears, they have bigger size their limbs as well as the appendages. That is the Bergman's. That is the Allen's rules. The next one is the one Jordan's rules. In some aquatic environments, an inverse relationship between water temperature and fish meristic characters is observed in lower temperature. More the vertebrates. More the vertebrates. Here they say in some aquatic environment, an inverse relationship between water temperature and fish meristic characters is observed. Now, in some kind of aquatic animals, they observe some kind of relationship, water temperature with fish characters is observed. That's a lower temperature. In the lower temperature, the animals of vertebrates can develop more and more. So that is because of Jordan rules. The next one is the one adaptations to temperature. Adaptations to temperature. Here, the adaptations to temperature is essential for survival of species or organisms. There is a one word important 2 marks, underline eurytherms. Eurytherms. Organisms which can survive a wide range of temperature are referred as eurytherms. Just mark it out. Important. 2 marks. The next one is the one here. Stenotherms. Just mark it out. This is another 2 marks. The organism which can tolerate only the narrow range of temperature are called as stenotherms. Examples: lizards, snakes. Here, these animals are some kind of organism. They can live only lower temperatures of that water. That is we call as stenotherms. And here, there is one word you can underline: hibernation. You can underline that word, hibernation, and aestivations. What do you mean by hibernations? The organism undergo for sleep during winter season. That is because hibernations. Underline that word. What do you mean by aestivations? A few organisms they undergo sleep during summer season. That is because of aestivation. Just underline important one word. The next one is the one light. Next factors is the one light. It is important and essential abiotic factors. Light is important and essential abiotic factors. Ecologically, the quality, the intensity in grams, in the quality and intensity and durations, the quality and intensity of and durations of light, it's considered significance for organisms. Here, the light influences growth, pigmentations, migrations, and reproductions. The intensity and frequency of light influences metabolic activities, induce gene mutation, that is UV and X-rays. In all these areas, the lights are used. Here there is some terms they given. Phototaxis. The movement of organisms in response to light, they call as a phototaxis. Here positive phototaxis, which means either towards the source of lights, the organism which move towards the source of light, they call as a positive. If that organism they move away from the light, is called as a negative phototaxis. Here phototropism, knock it out, this also phototropism. The growth or orientations of organisms response to light. The organism which responds to light towards light is called as a positive phototropism. Away from the light is called as a negative phototropism. The next one is the photokinesis. A change in the speed of locomotions in motile organisms. Motile means moving organisms or cells, which is made responsible to change in light intensity is called as a photokinesis. The next topic is the one water. Next topic is the one water. Here, as we have seen so far, the eurythermal, stenothermal, not all they given as a temperature for diagram where you can understand easily. The next one is the one water. Life on earth began in the sea, and water is essential for survival of all living forms of life. About 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. That is hydrosphere. Water is found in 3 states, that is gaseous, liquid, and solid. There are 2 types of water on earth, that is fresh water and salt water. And the next one is the one essential properties of water. Water is one of the main agents pedogenesis. Pedogenesis means the formations of soil. Then it is a medium for survival, or it is a medium for several different ecosystems. And it presents as a moisture, the atmosphere, outer layer of the lithosphere. Outer layer of the lithosphere. As a lithosphere means outer layer of the earth, that is we as a lithosphere. And water is heavier than air and imparts greater buoyancy to the aquatic meter. This enables organisms to float variable levels. So the water is heavier when we compare to the air, and also they act buoyancy for floating areas. The water act like that. The water has high heat capacity, the latent heat, due to which it can withhold a large amount of heat. The water is physically unique because it is less dense than a liquid. Water is physically unique because it has very less dense one. A solid when it compared to the liquid, ice cube, a solid, as a less dense. That ice cube can float when we drop in the water. Liquid is the one high density. That's what they given here. Next point, water, when water freezes in a 0 degree Celsius, all that water just undergo further contracts. Contract means wrinkle. The maximum density of liquid water occurs at 4 degree Celsius. Below that, here you can they explain in here. I'll show you the picture. Here, this is one. We go to minus 0 degree or -1, water become as a contract one, okay, wrinkle one, and they become as ice. That ice can float in this one because it is a low density. When they become a 4 degree Celsius, they become as a water. So the water has high density. Because of that, well, the ice cube they be floating in the water. And water is a physically unique because it less density. Already we are seeing. The next one is the one water is considered as a universal solvent. Water is the one universal solvent. It is the main medium by which chemical constituents are transported from abiotic components to living components of an ecosystem. And this I'll already explain to you. This picture, the water has high surface tensions. Okay, water has high surface tensions. This allows the pollen, dust, and even water striders to remain at the surface of water body even though they are denser than the water. Some of the particles, some of the things which they float on the water surface, even that particles are higher density than the water. That's what they say here. Then next one is the one soil. It is a mixture of organic matter, minerals, gases, liquids, and organisms that together supports life. The soil zone is known as pedosphere. Underline one word, they'll ask you. The soil zone is one we call as a pedosphere. Soil is formed. Soil is formed. Soil is formed from rocks, which are the parent materials of soil, by weathering, and is called as the embryonic soils. So soil is formed from rocks, which are parent materials of soil. As you learned in lower classes, soils are come from rocks. That's what they say here, due to weathering, and that is why it is called as a embryonic soil. That is pedogenesis. It has 4 major functions: medium for plant growth, means for water storage and purifications, the soil, the modifier of Earth's atmosphere, habitat for many organisms, which in turns modify the soil. So these are the topics, introductions part of soil. The next topic is our properties of soil. These properties of soil we can see in the next class. So today we have completed abiotic factors up to introduction part of soil. Just go through, learn today itself. In this chapter you have only few topics where you can score easily, where you can study easily. I'll give you the questions in the homework. Just write this homework in your classwork and just bring it to school when school reopens. After Diwali, just bring it. If you have any doubt, you can contact me. Okay. So watch this video properly. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, bye. Take care.